Are you bored with Capitol building on Legendary? That's about to change because there is a secret way to complete the Capitol building stronghold on Legendary that makes it faster, easier, and a lot more fun. And most agents don't know about it. Up next is a mission briefing for this week's Mission Impossible Challenge. Using the secret will be part of the challenge, so stick around after and I'll walk you through the details and the recommended build. Agent. Your mission this week, should you choose to accept it, involves capturing the Capitol building on Legendary. But this time, you're going to play it backwards. Further instructions will be provided after this briefing. Agent, remember, not just any build will work. Build recommendations will be provided for you. To complete this mission, global directives are completely optional. Use a hybrid skill damage build. You must complete each phase of this mission from the designated fight zones. As always, if you or any member of your force be caught or killed, the division will disavow all knowledge of your actions. And agent, if this happens, you're going to have to start all over. You may select anyone as a team member, but it is essential that you recruit at least one agent to complete this mission as part of your team. You have 7 days to complete the mission with your team. Rendezvous at Tux's Discord to check in using codename Backwards to be eligible for the Mission Impossible Challenge rewards. More details will be waiting for you there. You can also do the same on Tux's Twitter. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Thank you to everybody who participated in last week's Mission Impossible Challenge. This week is one you don't want to miss. That's because the recommended build is one of the best hybrid skill builds in the game. And I'm going to walk you through completing Capitol building on Legendary like you've never done before. First, the build. I introduced this build to the community last week and have received nothing but great feedback. It has the perfect balance of skill power and survivability with 1.1 million armor. 6% armor regen, 20% armor on kill, 20% bonus armor on kill, and 39% protection from elites with run and gun weapon damage to help you push and clear quickly. I used it to solo District Union Arena on Legendary and cleared the first 3 waves in only 3 minutes. For this challenge, you can use whatever hybrid skill build you like, but I highly recommend this one. I'm not going to walk you through each individual piece in this video since I just released this build, but I am dropping a link here and in the description so you can get all the deets. As I mentioned in the challenge briefing, your task is to complete Capitol building backwards. And by backwards, I mean you will not be fighting from the entrance of each phase like you're accustomed to. Instead, you will be sprinting through the enemies to the back of the fight zone. And in most cases, this will give you the high ground and the ability to spawn kill the NPCs, saving you a ton of time. And you'll be surprised how much easier this way is over the typical way agents run this stronghold. I will be revealing 2 secrets to completing the Capitol building stronghold in this video. Let's start with the first one. A lot of the community knows by now that you can jump through the electronic gates in the back by where the enemies spawn. And it's pretty common to fight your way through the 3 waves to get there, jump through the fence, set your skills, then open the gates to complete the next fight. But what most agents don't realize is that you can sprint through the entire first wave and beeline directly to the fence and jump through it. Doing this bypasses all the subsequent waves, including the Chunga and the Grenadier Hounds. And from beyond the fence, there is great cover and it is difficult for the NPCs to bring you down. They can't send their explosives over, so you're in luck. Once you cross over, you can use whatever skill you like. That's why it's important you run a skill build of sorts. Otherwise, you will have a very hard time tagging enemies with your gun. The Oxidizer, turrets, and drones are what is recommended. And I'd like to take a moment to give a shout out to my boy who showed us this trick. I've run through the NPCs to skip subsequent waves, but never thought about jumping through the fence immediately until he revealed this secret to us. Instead, we'd fight from the sandbags and endure the pain of all the explosives the grenadiers and drone operators sent our way. So that's the big win of going through the fence. You avoid the explosives, flanking, and any possible rush. And of course, again, you skip over the Chunga and the Grenadier Hounds. Now, to do this successfully, your team must be briefed. so comms is actually pretty important. Also, you will need at least 3 decoys tossed out, and timing is important. The first is tossed right as the NPCs run out. The second is tossed just a moment later to the back of the crowd. The third is tossed near the back right spawn door to aggro the dude who spawns as you arrive to the gates. This buys your team time to get through. Most importantly, your team must be grouped as tight as possible during the sprint through. Stragglers tend to get tagged. It might take a couple of times to get the timing right, but once you do, you will realize how easy it is to do, and you won't ever go back to the old way of completing the first part of the Capitol building. And that's how you complete the entire first section backwards. Did you know about this way to complete the beginning of Capitol? Let me know in the comments below. I am sure the secret is spreading quickly, but that's not the only secret tip I have for you on this mission. I have another one to share too, and I can't wait to show you. You're going to be like, what? Why didn't I think of that? Yup, it's one of those. We're going to be doing the same thing for the next section. We will be fighting from the back to spawn trap the enemies with high ground advantage. So after you clear out the enemies in the first part, fast travel to the other side of the fence and collect all your goodies. Leave one person outside the fence and the rest of your team can jump through again. Once they set their skills and say they're ready, have your guy waiting outside open the gate and run up to join you. This way you can trap and kill all the NPCs and clear this section in just a couple of moments. I recommend a shock trap or foam to keep them from sprinting outside the kill box. The yellow grenader and the sniper tend to be the ones who do that. Look out for that. You're probably used to throwing in your skills and hanging in the lobby as your skills do all the work. Boring, right? Most of the rooms in Capitol are played this way, and I have always found that to be super disappointing. So if you do this part right, it will be like shooting fish in a barrel. You will have the high ground and clear line of sight to the spawn points. 1 to 2 guys need to take out the jammer pulse, and everyone should sprint right and head upstairs. Put up your skills as fast as possible and have fun. But don't bunch up because they like to throw explosives at you. So I recommend making those NPCs and tanks your priority. Upstairs, there are also a few safer cover points up there to protect you from explosives, so be on the lookout for those. More importantly, you need to watch the staircase and the opposite side of the balcony. The NPCs will try to flank using these routes more than once. Having a sweet dreams to melee them can be handy, or stingers, or just use your drone, whatever you want. Just watch your back. Assign one guy to the right, another to the left, and just support each other in case you get overwhelmed. Otherwise, prioritize your targets and have fun from your advantage point. If there is a foamer on board, this section goes a lot faster. Something to think about. So once you make your way through the hallway fight, you arrive to the meeting room. Most throw in their skills and wait outside the door. This is very painful way to complete this room, and it takes so long this way because of the healing stations. We're gonna bypass all that bull. You guessed it, we're gonna play it backwards. So I recommend 1 decoy to be tossed out in sight of the NPCs who are waiting at the balcony. Tossing it on the platform or stairs is just fine. And then everyone, grouped tightly, should run through those enemies. Now, don't get hung up on an NPC. Zig and zag your way through them. Sometimes someone goes down, and that's okay. You'll be able to get them up as long as they make it up to the balcony. You will be making your way all the way to the little room in the back. On the right side of that room is a spawn door, and your job is to trap all the waves as they come out and try to kill as many of them as possible without letting them escape. There will be at least 3 waves. Again, traps and or foam are a good idea, and point at least 1 to 2 turrets at that door. When they come out, the turrets will pick up the aggro. But it is important the whole squad is there to waste them down quickly. Otherwise, a couple might escape. I don't recommend you chase the fools downstairs too much. You can send your drones and or 1 or 2 of your turrets to work them, but keep your mind on that spawn door. If you get too far out or too distracted by the dudes below, you will miss the spawn and everything can unravel on you. If you do this right, it will only take a few minutes. Here we are at the balcony. The balcony is another area most are accustomed to not going out and fighting. Instead, most of the time, agents throw out their skills and bunch up at the door. What a pain. You end up shooting your mate in the back most of the time since there's no room or cover. It's painful and slow, and this way sucks up your medkits. But we're gonna run this backwards and take the high ground. Gather your group, keep it tight, and all sprint right and directly toward the enemy spawn door. The Chunga and friends will be waiting for you, but don't worry. Toss out a decoy and use your drones or hives to distract them. Then climb up to the high point, spread out a little, and take cover. And remember, try not to get hung up on an NPC. Zig and zag as much as you can. It's rare, but sometimes a purple will climb up to come and get you or whatever, but they're never really a problem. They go back down or die quickly. Also, you will need turrets for this section, and I recommend not sitting right behind one because they tend to attract grenades. The hounds will have a hard time grenading you when you're behind cover. However, when you're firing from cover, the grenades can damage you. So check your timing. The tanks have better luck at tagging you from behind cover, so they need to go. You may go down, but you should all be close enough together to revive one another. Prioritize your targets and everything will be gravy. This part isn't much of a challenge. The biggest trick is to not group up. If you get too many grenades, throw down a decoy to spare yourself the pain. And remember, look out for that sniper in the back looking to double tap you. I recommend taking out the Chunga, then the hounds before anything else. If you do this right, it should feel like fish in a barrel. I'm about to show you the second secret for completing Capital easier. I'm super excited to share this one with you. It's a game changer, and when you combine it with everything you've learned today, you will be farming Capital on Legendary like it is nothing. Okay, welcome to the end game. You've made it and now have the ability to respawn if something goes wrong. Most fight this part from the little hut in the bottom left corner. But what a pain, right? There isn't cover for everyone. And if you do anything but blind fire, you're dead. And so much waste this way. You use all your health kits and or need a full-time healer. You damage the enemy and they just run to their heal station and regen over and over. You inevitably run out of ammo and have to run out of that little hut and ammo up. But we're gonna skip all of that bull. First thing first, eliminate the heal stations before the fight even begins. Did you know you could do that? I bet you didn't know you could do that. But before we begin, I gotta give a shout out to my clanmate, Just Doggish, for giving us the 411 on this one. Okay, this is how you do it. One or all of your team needs to equip an oxidizer and start tagging all the heal stations from the entry platform without going into the fight zone. I found these crates or boxes or whatever you can stand on and give yourself an advantage point. I recommend taking at least the first 2 healing stations out before you go in. Now, it's important no one shoots their gun or aggroes the NPCs at this stage. The NPCs might start walking around in the fight zone, which is fine. Just make sure you don't fire your oxidizer while one is right in front of you or in line of sight. Avoiding them is easy. It's okay if they're near your target, as long as they're not looking you in the eyes when you launch, if you know what I mean. Without the heal stations, the fight is going to be faster and easier. Swap out your oxidizer back to whatever skill you plan to run for this phase, and then just strut your shit inside, set up, and then start the fight. Okay, when you're ready to go, you're gonna go straight out and climb up the back left advantage point. There's plenty of great cover, and there's even an ammo box. If there are NPCs in the zone, I recommend tossing out a decoy middle left and middle right before you head over. Sometimes there's an NPC on the platform that you're headed to, but they usually jump down or die. They're never really a problem. Most of the action happens right in front of the platform below you, so at least 2 of the squad members need to stay on that. Sometimes a fool jumps up, just burn them down if they do. Another squad member needs to keep an eye on the back entrance of the platform. Eventually, a couple of fools will try to flank. They're not typically a problem, and can be thwarted easily. There's not much to it from there. If you didn't take on last week's challenge, now's your chance. Find out how to duo District Union Arena on Legendary mode, fast and easy, with 2 amazing builds. This will open your eyes to a whole new way of playing this game. Tuxedo out.
Follow me on everything, or you will be fucking sorry. Follow me on everything. Follow me.